Thank God for adjustable microphones, right? I too brought some notes because a bullet still remains in my brain, so bear with me. Thanks, Reed and the Kiwanis, for having us here today. Me and my wife and my brothers, who I brought with me. I'll start off by introducing them. We got Cody Wolf, who works for our juvenile suppression team. I've known Cody since the academy, so about 7 years ago, and he's training and inspiring our current generation and maybe the next generation of nominees, maybe the next, 5 years, 10 years maybe, give or take. We have George Nichols. Detective George Nichols, sorry buddy. So George works for our Vice team, so he's the one in dark alleys at night doing the kind of work that none of us want to do to make sure we all sleep in our nice warm beds. George, he's a great officer. He's doing things that I wouldn't want to do, and thank you for your service, buddy. And then finally we have Jared Wilson. He's a sergeant and president of our Police Officer Association. Jared was disapproving my arrest reports when I was a baby cop, so he was my old boss. Now I have different bosses. I have like 10 bosses. And then finally, my beautiful wife, who's in the back of the room. We're moving away from the corner because nobody puts baby in the corner. She's been with me every step of the way, especially since my injury, and she's my high school sweetheart, and she's my cover officer in life. So last time I talked to a group of people, it was for an active shooter training scenario and I lost. So I apologize if some of my context strays off into a different direction, so I apologize. I'll try to keep myself on a tight leash. I'm going to start off by saying something that might come off as bizarre for you guys, but tell my boys I love them and Daddy's going to be okay. Tell my wife I'm sorry and I love her. So those are the first things that came into my head, aside from the bullet entering my head when I was injured that night. And that was a joke, so you guys can laugh at that. Every time I talk about my injury, it's okay to laugh. That's how I've kind of looked at this process, and it's kind of helped me through. So what I mean by that is whatever you guys get into, guys or gals get into, I apologize. Job, sports, you have a family, become president, I don't care what it is. Just know that the most important things in life, I promise, is your family and your health and your ability to use your legs and kiss your kids and wrestle with your boys. I promise. Those are life's cheat codes, so do what you want with that information because it's true. Thank you, Reed, like I said already, for having me here and my family here. It's an honor to be among these young men and women today. So character, right? The mental and moral qualities personally associated with each individual. I Googled that on the internet, so that's the internet definition. I'm going to give you guys what I think is my definition. If you want to validate that, Google it. Go ahead. You guys all know how to use Google, right? So when I stand up here and I look at these young men and women, it reminds me of myself when I was their age, aside from the grades, of course. I didn't even know you could get over a 4.0. I was talking to my brother George over there about that in the parking lot. He's like, some of these guys got 4.4s and 4.1s, and I think I was shy of a 3.0 or a 2.8 or something. And I'm surprised I graduated high school, let alone get a master's degree later on in life. So I look at these guys and gals, and yeah, I see myself at that age, but I also see people who will do the right thing when nobody's watching, and will do the hard thing when everyone else is sleeping. And I believe that's the only way that they got in these seats right now. And I believe that's the only way I recovered the way I did after getting injured. And in case you guys didn't know, I got shot in the head, bullet entered my head, lost all feeling and ability to do anything on my left side, so I was paralyzed, and that was 4 months ago. And I applied all these characteristics that I'm about to talk to you guys with today, and I believe that's a huge testament to why I healed so quickly and healed the way I did. Fully intend on going back to work, which is bizarre to me, why you want to go back to work, but I have a calling to it. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. So as far as having this character at such a young age, says a lot when most kids or most young adults their minds have literally been captured by social media. Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, these platforms have literally captured the minds of our youth. And it says a lot for these young people to have broken away from the herd and done their own thing. And it takes a lot of courage and attraction to adversity to break away from the herd. And I feel honored to be, staying up here with these men and women that are able to do that at such a young age. So, I think they're able to do this by exercising and doing hard things in a daily life, which I think develops personal growth. Whatever that hard thing is, doing a cold plunge, studying for a test, trying to get that 100% when everyone else is sleeping or playing video games or they're, flicking through their reels or doing whatever. These kids were either studying or doing push-ups, trying to get to the NFL, or maybe teaching their little brother or sister how to do something, remembering what they have to do, at the volunteering thing that they have the next day. So just basically the whole package. So doing these hard things not just benefits you in high school or college or what you're going to go on to from there, but it helps you overcome the unexpected thing that happens to you in life. I didn't expect to get shot in the head. I don't think anyone does, right? But before that happened, I tried exercising, doing the hard things in life that no one typically wanted to do. I went running at night. As a police officer, people say, hey, there's this call waiting on the board. Most people don't want to go to it because they don't know how to do it. I was like, you know what? I'll go to that because I'll probably go and I'll fail at it. Failing's good, but I'll have some new knowledge that I can apply and I can use next time I go to a call like that or I go to a situation. So I use those scary things, those hard things as a target acquisition. That looks hard to me. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. That's a growth opportunity right there. No matter how small, how big it is, you see something that's hard, you should be attracted to it. You should want to go do it because it's a way to build yourself, right? Whatever that is, whatever that means to you. It's all relative, If you want to go be on the SWAT team, if you want to learn how to tie your shoe backwards, it's all relative. It's, if it's hard for you, it might not be hard for somebody else, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. We're talking about failure, right? So I believe you can fail, but not be a failure. I might as well have a master's degree in failing because I failed at so many big things in life, but I'm definitely not a failure, right? I'm a great father, great husband. She asked my wife, she's back there. Pretty sure I am. I've excelled in my professional career, my social career. I tell people, fail like a scientist would fail, right? Those guys get paid to not know what the hell they're doing, right? I think this is going to cure this disease, right? I think X, Y, and Z, doing that in sequence is going to come up with a cure for something. They apply that. I think that's what, kids? Is that a hypothesis or something? Help me out here, okay? They apply a hypothesis. They try and make that true. They fail. They get paid to do it. They're like, okay, I tried this. My lack of information gap has now shrunk. I'm going to use that new intel I just acquired. I'm going to apply it to my next hypothesis. I'm going to try again. I'm probably going to fail again, but the information gap is going to shorten each time. And then eventually you're going to come to the right answer, right? So if you guys could just learn how to fail like a scientist and fail with confidence Half the time, people aren't going to know you're failing anyway, right? But at some point, you're going to come to the conclusion, you're going to come to the right answer. So fail with confidence is what I'd say, and like a scientist, a confident scientist, right? That guy's going to pick up the girl at the bar, I promise you. And you guys shouldn't be going to bars. Unless you're drinking in Europe or something. Study hard for the test you have to take, and even harder for the test you hope you never have to take, right? I didn't go to work that night and say, hey, we get shot in the head, I should cram for this test, right? Let's do a bunch of push-ups to get in the right mindset. No. You assume that at some point, something really hard is going to happen. Something with your kids, something with a family member, you have to be supportive in some way. You're met with a complex problem you've never experienced before, which happens in life. Life sucks, it's hard. Prepare yourself while you can, while your limbs work, while your heart works, while your brain works. Use that stuff. Don't waste it. Don't destroy your body. Exercise it while you can, physically and mentally. So, a couple last notes here. I'm a big fan of Batman. So, and it sounds silly, but if you think about it, these fictional characters in all these movies have had a bigger impact on us than any real person ever has, if you really think about it, right? So a role model of mine is Batman. He says a lot of cool stuff, and I couldn't say it better than Ben Affleck in Batman, who I think was the best Batman. He's got that metal suit, sounds like a freaking robot. So how cool is that, right? He says, while he's beating the crap out of Superman, he says, life doesn't make sense unless you force it to. So before I went into surgery for that bullet in my brain, for that big complex problem I wasn't expecting, the doctor said, hey, don't expect to ever walk again or use your leg again. Or, we can't give you that crystal ball answer. So, I went through a lot of, roller coaster rides, and my wife said, you know what, stop asking people for these answers you want to hear, just make the decision that you're going to walk again. So I forced that to happen. So I was a yes man. Anything that seemed hard, like putting on my shoe, that's why I talked about shoes earlier. It seems trivial and benign, but it was hard to even look down, let alone put my shoe on. So it's all relative. Look for those growth opportunities, and go off to college, have fun. I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very proud to stand up here between you guys. And again, you could be the most successful person in the world, and you could be the coolest at your job or in school. But don't take yourself too seriously, because if you drink and you go driving and you get arrested, which is the best case scenario, you could kill somebody yourself. See it all the time. Go to school, go fail, go get knowledge, don't drink and drive, because right when you think the cops aren't watching you, that's when we're watching you the most. So thanks everybody for having me up here.